And you would, I remember you would start walking through your neighborhood all shredded, and you started having neighbors ask you questions. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, people started stopping me, and they're like, man, you look great. They're like, you
Yeah.
look great. What are you doing? People ask me, they're like, are you an MMA fighter? Like, what do you? People are asking me this. I'm like, no, no, nothing like that. I just
Man, I'm just excited because your pictures recently online just have blown everyone away. People were calling me, texting me like, who is this dude? Is he like a modern day warrior? And I'm like, yep, pretty much. I'm excited to have you on the interview. Talk to me a little bit about all this, man. You've lost 77 pounds on this journey, which has been no small feat. I mean, that's incredible. And you've been able to do that without the complexity of counting macros, calories, points, or being hungry. Tell me, what were you weighing when you first got started?
Well, when I first started, I was weighing in at about 235 pounds. And I also had a lifestyle where I was working a high demand job. I was staying up really late. I was drinking alcohol sometimes to fall asleep, just because I was up working so much. And I was on the road a lot. So I was eating lots of fast food. I wasn't watching what I was eating. And it was really one of those moments where you wake up in the morning and you take a look at yourself in the mirror and you say, wow, who is this person? How did I get here? And I remember right at that time is when I think I first came into your studio and did one of our first workouts. And it was after that workout, it was awful. I think I was puking in the trash can afterwards. I knew that I had to continue on with some program. And then when you and I met and we started talking about the Empty Your Bucket program, I was nervous to get started with it, but after I started with it, I realized that this is a different program than anything else that I've tried before. That I could take what I'm normally doing and I can make a few adjustments, and see major results.
So that's amazing. So 235. Right? Where are you now? What are you weighing now?
I weigh 160.
Holy moly. So about 77 pounds down, which is, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And guys, to give you some context, for those of you that are tuning in, I met Brad while I was still a gym owner. And so he came into our studio. And I remember that day. It's so funny. That's still so clear to me when you came in that day. And I remember at the end of the workout, you were just like laying flat on the floor, like and but she put you like, I knew it from day one. I'm like, man, this guy, he's a hard worker, because even though you were out of shape and you were winded, you gave it all you had. And I was like, man, if I could grab hold of this guy and bring him onto my nutrition program, I know he would crush it. And sure enough, that's exactly what you did. So pretty amazing. One of the things that people complain about most when they come on programs like this is that, I don't want to be hungry. All they think about is the three first letters of the word diet. They feel like they're going to die.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a little bit? I mean, were you hungry throughout this process?
I really wasn't. And one of the things that about this program, that when you are cooking for yourself, or when you are eating better quality food, is you'll find yourself getting more full faster than you would eating any of the fast food and any of the other stuff that you normally would eat. And so the food that we were eating throughout the program satiated my hunger. I didn't feel hungry between meals. Also, when you're eating with enough frequency, that you're constantly putting food in your body throughout the day, even if that is in the form of a protein shake, and those little and eating 4 or 5 meals a day, that's tremendously helpful.
So okay, so wait, so you're telling me that you're actually eating more inside of the program than you were possibly eating before coming on the program, and you're losing weight pretty consistently?
Absolutely. You're eating before the program, I ate maybe twice a day. With the program, I'm eating 5 times a day, and losing weight along the way.
So yeah, that's interesting, because most people think, man, I'm going to have to go on a diet. I'm going to have to restrict food and be hungry all the time. But you're telling me you're actually eating more as guys, once again, 77 pounds, like that's a whole lot of weight. That's what is that? That is, so I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. I think right now my 4-year-old she's about 30 pounds. And then I think my 7-year-old is probably like 45 pounds. So roughly you've lost 2 kids in this process. Man, that is absolutely amazing. And one of the things that is interesting, when people come on the program, I constantly say, hey, I want you to dial your nutrition in and your cardio before we think about resistance training. But with you, it was a little different because you were like, no, dude, I want to train and I want to do this simultaneously. And so we never separated things. You trained, you did your slow burn, which I want to talk about the slow burn because I know you impacted some of your neighbors there with your slow burn. You did your slow burn and you were working out. And you recently went through the 75 hard while applying the emptier bucket principles, which just being completely transparent here, when I hear people doing the 75 hard, I'm like, okay, day 76, they're going to quit and it's going to be done like that. It's just going to be a thing of the past and it's another fad. But because you applied the emptier bucket plan to that type of hyper accountability, I think that's an amazing combination. And so tell me a little bit about, so you came on the plan, you started doing your slow burns, you're still working out. You're saying you weren't hungry. You were eating more than what you were eating previously, before coming on the program. You would end your workouts because at that point we were doing some online training, and so you would train for 45 minutes to an hour, and then you would head out for what were you doing, like a 45-60-minute walk?
Yeah, I do a 45-minute walk after our workouts were finished. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you would, I remember you would start walking through your neighborhood all shredded, and you started having neighbors ask you questions. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, people started stopping me, and they're like, man, you look great. They're like,
Yeah.
you look great. What are you doing? People ask me, they're like, are you an MMA fighter? Like, what do you? People are asking me this. I'm like, no, nothing like that. I just,
Are you like neighborhood security?
But no, it was, and what I did started to notice, and I don't want to personally take credit for any of this, but I have noticed that the more, because I would be outside every day, I'd walk, I'd do my slow burns almost on a daily basis. You start to see more of those neighbors out doing brisk walks in the morning, out doing their bike rides and things like that. Whereas before I didn't see that many people out in my neighborhood, but before you know it, you have couples out in droves every single day, that are out speed walking, out doing slow burn cardios. Because I tell people about it, and I hope we can talk about it a little bit. But the slow burn cardio is really the cheat code for the body, and most people don't get it.
100%. It's starting to become a popular thing where we've been talking about this for 23 years. The power of just brisk walks versus running, sprinting, biking, or doing any of those things. And man, what I hear you saying is this powerful concept, and it's the idea that communal learning is a powerful thing. In other words, we can either show up as a positive example and impact those around us in a positive way, or vice versa, right? And we all have stories of some point in our lives where we weren't great examples, but man, you certainly are a positive example now. It sounds like you not only have you impacted people where you live, but other people that, friends, family that see you now. You're posting these pictures, people are reaching out going, Brad, what are you doing? You had some friends that came on the program as a byproduct of you referring them, who also crushed the program. And so, man, I just love that not only are you benefiting from this, but people are watching. People are always watching, and I often say that people are starving for someone to lead them, and you're doing that silently, and that's a beautiful thing. So I commend you for that. Brad, just to close out here, like, why is the emptier bucket different from everything else out there? I mean, they're keto, Atkins, outreach, macro counting, calorie counting. There are all these ideas, but why was this sustainable for you?
I think you answered it right in the question itself. That the reason that the empty your bucket is different is because it's sustainable. Whenever you're doing a diet, right, you're always thinking about that you're denying yourself something. It's like, oh, okay, I got to stop this. But even psychologically, when you're thinking you have to stop something, you have to stop yourself. You're pushing against the wall. You're like, oh, I have to deny myself this, in order for me to be successful. But everybody knows when you're fighting yourself, that denying yourself something, you can't fight yourself forever. So instead of fighting yourself, instead of making a drastic change that you can only do for a short period of time, make small adjustments that you can make over the long term. And one of the interesting things about the Empty Your Bucket program is that when we were, let's say, finished with it, my diet has shifted forever. The same things that I was eating prior to Empty Your Bucket, I'm just not eating it anymore. And frankly, I've lost my taste for it. I don't want to eat this stuff. I feel gross when I eat certain foods. My stomach gets jacked up when I eat certain stuff. I get tired during the day if I eat certain foods. And so the Empty Your Bucket program is an effective program because it is so sustainable. Because you're not constantly denying yourself the things that you want. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what I hear you saying is, we need tangible examples of progression in order to make things sustainable in life. So, I have 2 kids and I tell them all the time, don't do this, don't do that, rules, right? Which is what diets do. Like, don't do this, don't do that. And most of us don't respond very well to rules. And I often say that your rules will never change your heart. What changes your heart is the actual experience. So I can tell my girls all day long, wear your helmet when you ride your bike, but that doesn't become real until they fall and they bang their head and they go, oh, my dad was right, I should have worn my helmet. And I think with a systematic approach of phase 1, 2, and 3 of the Empty Your Bucket nutrition plan, as you go into it and you start to see like, oh, wait a second, I'm not really physically hungry, I'm emotionally hungry. And that clarity pulls you back from actually eating the food. And then jumping on the scale and noticing that you're down in weight, even though you haven't been running, sprinting, or biking, but simply brisk walking, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, these walks are, they are powerful. Or being able to go to a restaurant and still being able to take part in a social gathering without being the weird person drinking diet water while everyone else is having a good time. But, being able to choose the things that are going to favor you, I just think it's so empowering, right? Because you're making better choices, but you're not denying yourself, which is what you're saying. And I think that's what makes it very sustainable. Well, brother, we throughout the years, we've not only have you been a member, but we've developed a friendship. And man, I'm just incredibly proud of you. I saw your picture online the other day, and it was like, I got goosebumps, dude. It was so cool because I almost felt like a proud parent, like when you see your kid and you're just like, yeah, that's my boy. So, so cool, man. And just to see your face light up in that picture, you can just tell, you're happy, you're in a good place. And I know you recently became a dad. So, so awesome, man. And just happy for you. Thank you so much for your diligence, your follow through. And man, you're truly an example to follow. So keep it up.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks for being on the interview.